all, here we are again. It's another Monday, July 12th, 2010. This is Bill Greenberg from PhoneScholar.com, and here's a summary of what's on the website today. Google Do-It-Yourself Apps creation software. And basically Google has come up with a software that you can create your own apps with. It's kind of cool. There's an instructional video on the website to show kind of how it does it. And I also put a link to the website, so you don't have to write this down, but here's the website. It's appinventor.googlelabs.com, but you can click directly on the link and it'll take you directly to it to set it up. And basically, they've been testing it for the past year in schools. They've been using 6th graders, high school girls, nursing students, and university undergrads, and none of them are computer science majors, so just basically ordinary people like you and me to create apps for their phones. And basically, you drag and drop blocks of code rather than having to write it all out, and it just looks like graphic images like anything else that you tend to drop and drag in most other things. A Google Gmail account is required, but it looks pretty cool. The only thing I haven't been able to find out, and I read probably about 6 articles on this, is whether these apps are strictly for your own individual phone or you can actually put them onto the Google App World and have other people do them. So if anybody has any information about that out there, I'd love to see it. Also, I'd love to get a group of people who've created their own apps, and you can email me at blogquestions@phonescholar.com and send them over to me, and I'll go ahead, if I can get a bunch of videos of you guys creating your apps, I'll go ahead and put them on there one day. I think it'd be a great follow-up. So send those to me. Next, shortages of phone hindering Sprint 4G. And there's also a video from the Wall Street Journal on there from an analyst who talks about how great the sales of the Evo phone has been, but unfortunately they're having a huge problem getting the phones themselves. Now this is also going to be part of the story. Also talks about the AMOLED display, which all the new Galaxy phones are going to have, and a lot of the other phones. The Evo uses an LCD display screen, so it's a little bit different. But this could be an issue going forward for a lot of these huge phones, and they even talk about building a new factory for all this, but it's not going to be ready till 2012, so that doesn't help out the situation that's going on right now. But Sprint has consistently said that if they had more phones, they would have sold even more than the 300,000 they already have. They are in back order. As of right now, there's no absolute drop-dead date of when they're coming back in. And the analyst talks about one of the problems is that if you underestimate the amount of phones you're going to sell and then you sell out, it's real hard to ramp back up and get it going. And I know this specifically from my Verizon days when we would come out with some hot new phone and then we'd be out of it for months and months. And this is an issue that's been going on for years, not just in cell phones but in the consumer electronics field. And it just kind of amazes me how they haven't been able to right this ship yet, but hopefully they'll get it all right. I mean, iPhone's facing the same thing right now with their back orders and then not being able to have the white phones and stuff like that, so we'll see what happens. Lastly, FaceTime video chat may be added to the next generation iPod Touch. The iPod Touch, the new one, which is due out sometime probably late August, looks like they've had leaked photos of the parts of the front that actually show a hole above the display, which of course would have a camera. They're saying, rumored, it's a 5 megapixel camera with high definition video capabilities at 720p, and that it will have the FaceTime, which has been working very well for the iPhone. So look for those of you who don't necessarily need. Now remember, this works strictly on the Wi-Fi network. So the iPod Touch is already set up with Wi-Fi, so that's not a great leap for it. But obviously not every single area has Wi-Fi, so that's an issue that you may have to deal with when dealing with the FaceTime. But again, one more feature for the new iPod Touch, so some really good things. Under categories, under Garmin and T-Mobile, the Garmin Phone, the one that was supposed to hit up, has already been dropped from $200 to $130. That also still includes the $50 mail-in rebate. And this is the first sign a lot of times when you see a phone that's only been out for a month and they start dropping the price. That's the sign that one, it's probably not selling real well, and two, they may pull the plug. The same thing happened with the Kin, is they dropped the price within a month and then shortly after that they pulled the plug on it. Also, remember, T-Mobile's coming out with the Vibrant, the new Galaxy S version, their Galaxy X version, that's going to be about $200, so the Garmin Phone probably wouldn't be able to compete against that at the price point anyway, so we'll see what happens with that. Under new technology, some human interest stuff for you to read and be interested about, because it's human interest. Oregon City settles suit over recording of arrest. And basically 2 years ago, there was a gentleman who recorded an arrest of his friend in a bowling alley on his cell phone. He basically even said, there's narration where he said, don't worry, I have this on tape. And I guess according to the story, there's a law in the book saying that you cannot record an officer's conversation without their permission. Although, like they said, he was narrating this. The phone was confiscated. The person was arrested for this. He got the phone back. When he got the phone back, the video was erased, and they have since there was a lawsuit, and they have since settled the lawsuit. Obviously, the arrest didn't go through. He was never convicted, but they paid for all his legal expenses, and basically the Oregon police said they don't think they'll be arresting anybody anymore for recording their conversation, so we'll see what happens with that. And then again, some more human interest. That this is under, and that was under the new technology category because I had no place else to put it. Under Apple, AT&T, and iPhone, judge okays iPhone class action lawsuit against Apple and AT&T. And I remember when the iPhone first came out, there was a class action lawsuit saying that the 5-year exclusive with AT&T and the fact that Apple was locking their phones and not being able to use them on any other system was a monopoly. And I remember this story first breaking and they talking about this. Well, it looks like a federal judge has okayed the lawsuit to go through. So we'll see what happens. There's probably going to be a number of people involved with this because this is originally from 2007 when the iPhone first came out. So follow this one. I'll follow this one. If there's any follow-ups, I'll give it to you, but this could be a very, very interesting story. Go ahead and to see the entire story and all the entire stories of everything on here, www.phonescholar.com. Have a great day. I'll talk to you tomorrow.